Hi guys, it's Stephanie here from Hickory Croft Farm, and today we're going to be making Crabapple Liqueur, one of my favorites. I've been asked for this recipe many times by friends, and it's just something that's always a hit, and so I figured I would share. Basically, I call it Crabapple Liqueur. I kind of call any wild apple a crabapple. We are very fortunate. We've moved to a property that's loaded with apples, so this is going to be a staple this year. There's going to be a lot of it put into the pantry. So I came across this tree while I was out collecting apples yesterday, the day before, probably the day before, and basically it had lots of the little guys, very ripe and very red, which red makes a very nice Crabapple liqueur. Now there wasn't a whole lot of them on the tree, so I did pick a few other little guys that I thought would work for liqueur as opposed to you know, trying to make them into pies or something like that. They're just too little to mess with. So that's our bucket. I haven't weighed this out. I think it's probably close to maybe 3 liters of apples, give or take. I always pick way more than I need, but it's a case that whatever we don't use goes to animals anyways, so nothing is ever really wasted. So you will need the apples. And again, I call it Crabapple Liqueur, but you can just do any apples. Apple liqueur, period. I have done it with the bigger apples as well. It's a little bit sweeter. So basically, we're going to be working in a 1 liter mason jar. I prefer the wide mouth because then I can really kind of cram them in there. Basically, you got the 1 liter. I put my little funnel on top and a lid, obviously, all the equipment you need. You need a 1 cup measurer. And basically we start with, maybe we start with 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of vodka. Looks like I'm going to have to stock up on some more vodka. We've made rhubarb liqueur and blackberry liqueur as well this year. Vodka is definitely a staple that is always in our pantry, or our liquor cabinet. And next is your apples. Now, I don't really mess around with trying to core these with a corer. Apples are very plentiful on our property, so I'm kind of wasteful, but then the pigs eat what's left over, so it's not a big problem. And I just cut down kind of all the way around, basically do 4 cuts. Sometimes I don't do such a great job. But 4 cuts, basically that's it. You could cut these one smaller if you want. It does help with cramming extras in the jar. But basically you do that, throw them in, and that's it. We move on. And again, I just kind of cut down. And you're going to occasionally get ones that are not very good because, well, these are wild apples and that just happens. As I said before, you kind of want to try and choose ones that are a little redder because it does give it a pretty color as a finished product. It'll be a nice pretty pink drink. Previously at our old place we had those little decorative purple crab apples, and they were beautiful. I would just kind of, because they were really small, I would take maybe 5 or 6 or so, and I would just take the stem and the flower part off and bung them right into my jar. And even before I'd gotten the other apples all cut and in, you could see the purple leaching out into the water. It just made it a beautiful color. This keeps very well. We have some jars still from last year that still are amazing. Now it does, I think, and this could be in my head, but it does seem to get a lot stronger with age. So be careful when you go to consume some. But it is very important that you make sure you strain it really well, because that is what will allow it to keep for a longer period of time. You can see my compost tub is getting full of the off bits. So, again with a handy dandy spatula, wooden end, I'm going to poke those down in, just to get them in as far as I can get them right now. You can see that. The more you can push them in, the more the liquid is going to come up. At this point, I then put my lid on, nice and tight, because it will make a mess if you don't. And I just give it a little shake, up and down, back and forth. You're trying to get the sugar kind of mixed in so that you can get the apples right to the bottom. That's pretty decent. So you can see now the apples have sunk down quite a bit. If I poke that in, and the liquid has come up. So now we need to add more apples. Let me give that another shake. You can see I'm getting close. You can see here I'm getting close to the top. We're going to give it another shake. See if I can get that sugar moved around one more time. Just frees up some space to cram a bit more fruit in there. Just like so. Let's see how that does. One thing you definitely want to make sure you do after, there we are, and look at that, I got lots of room for some more fruit there. One thing that you do want to make sure you do before you seal this up for its sitting is to make sure you clean that rim after shaking it, because I have forgotten on multiple occasions, and it gets so sticky that it's very, very hard to get the lid off. See if we can push them in. We're pretty darn close. There we are. We're going to go with that. Might get a couple more in there and then just top it up with the vodka. And do one more. And then we'll put vodka in to fill it the rest of the way. I think that's probably as good as it's going to get. So, just going to, you can see here, you're going to top that up a little bit more. There we go. Don't want to waste any vodka by having it overflow. I might have one too many in here. We'll see if I can get that lid on. I think it'll go. I like it right full. Makes the best value. So, we screw that. Oh, see, I did it. I forgot to clean the rim. Told you that was going to happen. It's very important to make sure. I'm going to rinse this lid. Okay. Very important to make sure that you wipe that rim of any of that sugar, crusty sugar. I did rinse the lid, probably not a bad idea. Then we put it back on. Screw it in nice and tight. Make sure it's nice and tight. But basically now you're going to just leave that on its side for 14 days. And every day you're going to take that and rotate it 1/4. It'll take probably 2 or 3 days before that sugar all dissolves. That's part of the reason for keeping the rotating, is that the sugar moves every time you do that. But basically 14 days and you will be ready to bottle this. So that is the basic process of making our crabapple liqueur. It is delicious. You will be addicted. You will need to do lots. It is a very, very popular item in this household. But anyways, as I was saying, I grabbed a bottle here. I was going to show you. This is last year's still. Again, just in a nice little cork bottle, kept in our liquor cabinet. Not refrigerated. You will find sometimes that some different fruits you will need to refrigerate it if you don't strain that pulp out really, really well. But just to show you, this is just purely to show you color, of course. It's beautiful. Yes. Give it a try.